So if you're a veteran or have been playing Overdress for a fair bit, you would have seen these cards known as encounter cards. They are basically units from the old formats reimagined into these Stonewall framed cards and have a clan label that limits its usability to only the specific clan in Premium. Examples of these few encounter cards can be Dragonic Overlord and Phantom Blaster Dragon, both released in BTO2. With introductions out of the way, let's get into the main discussion of this video. I think encounter cards give a budgeted and viable option for those who like older cards in a simpler format, or maybe just an option for veterans that never got to play that specific deck back in the day and isn't able to find its premium counterpart. The point of these encounter cards was probably aimed at getting some nostalgia out of older players, or maybe those players that just want to play all their favorite decks in just one format, just playing, Dragonic Overlord in V, Premium, and Overdress, and also somewhat let new players know about Vanguard's old iconic units. I mean, like, even if you came in Overdress, you should know who is Blaster Blade and Dragonic Overlord. They're really, really iconic, and I think they do a good job. They do a good job of bringing back nostalgia. Definitely better than V. It's definitely better than V. They also somewhat allow new players to know like the deck themes. I think the differentiation of decks in encounter decks, like the themes, they somewhat, I don't think they fully resemble the old decks. I definitely don't think so, but I think they definitely did a pretty good job in like trying to create new cards for the premium format, and also literally reimagine them in Overdress. However, I think a downside to encounter decks is that veterans straight up get bored by these powered down versions of the deck they were familiar in with a different meta. So I think with encounter decks being in a Overdress meta, it is a completely different vibe to the old decks that veterans would want to play. After all, I don't think anyone would really want to play in, old formats. I mean, like, yeah, we do casually, but in a competitive scene, we don't go back into, the old BTO4 meta. Not BTO4. Probably BTO5, BTO5, which is when MLB, Phantom, PBO, and DN was out. Yeah, I don't think the meta that we were given for these encounter decks is really that is equivalent to what we had last time. After all, we have new cards like Nirvana, Nirvana being really, really good right now. Of course, Gravidia as well. Yeah, like you never think of these cards back then, and these like such playstyles weren't even prevalent back then. These decks weren't made to go up against such a different meta, and so I think you won't really replicate the same experience from back in BTO5. And so I think there are definitely downsides to encounter decks, especially since like if you're like casual and you actually play 3 of the same deck, you'll basically just never really pick playing. Let's say you play like 3 Overlord decks in all 3 formats. You'll literally never really pick Overdress. It's not because like in Premium you can choose to play the old Overlord. Like going back to play in this very underdeveloped format instead of just playing Premium instead. I think people will get bored. I think people will definitely get a bad impression on Overdress if an encounter deck was like the first deck they ever really played with in Overdress after playing Premium, or maybe after getting into Premium like a whole lot, So yeah, I think that's one of the major downsides to encounter decks. Other than that, I think encounter cards rather, I think they really bring in quite a cool flavor to Overdress that I don't think any one of us actually expected after hearing that we're gonna have a rotation, last year. Something I find pretty interesting about encounter cards is that they bring back old themes to Overdress. such as striding and locking that we got a sneak peek of through Chronojet and Messiah. And with that, Bushiroad will be able to expand upon these old keywords to a heavily advertised format being Overdress. Like, if you think about it, putting these old cards into Overdress means Bushiroad's cash-grabbing Dragonic Overlord will literally be immortal. Like, not even 3,000 years of lore can beat Dragonic Overlord. It is just immortal. It will always steal our money, always take our money away. Yeah, we love Overlord. Anyways, if such keywords are successfully brought over to Overdress, we could possibly see a new type of keyword that like utilizes these old, has references to these old keywords in newer decks, and maybe actually build upon encounter cards to actually use them in newer Overdress decks. Like that would be really cool. I think there's a lot of interesting factors when thinking about and when planning about encounter decks. Another thing I want to bring up is how good these decks are. Yeah, sure, back in the day in Set 2 they sucked ass, but Overlord is literally one of the best decks in Overdress right now, at least fall of 2022, because of this busted Grade 1 promo. So yes, blame that card. So yeah, these decks really do sit on the fence on viability, but overall, yeah, somewhat solid if you don't count the promo. Though I'm pretty sure anyone who play encounter decks most likely just play them for the nostalgia and the old themes instead of really playing them for tournament viability. But then again, you don't really know. So yeah, I think that's it for the video, and I want to thank you guys if you've actually sat through this. I'm pretty sure this is pretty short. This pretty short video discussing about encounter cards. I thought it was an interesting topic. You guys can comment down below, get this discussion going. I think if Bushiroad expands upon encounter cards in the right way, I think it would be really good, really beneficial to the card game. But then again, we could have just gotten like a second wave of V, which is not good. Just no V. We hate V. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for sitting around, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.